Good morning, Brian with Grand Roofing, bringing you another how-to video. We'll start by going through what's going on this roof. I was here late last night detecting the issue, so we'll do a quick walkthrough of what I did to find it, why we're here now this morning, and quick video, uncut repair of rubber. What's going on here? First off, I'm on a restaurant, Comb Palace. Amazing. If you're in my Kokomo area or passing through, it is conveniently located right off of 931 right there, so check them out. Excellent food and ice cream, or maybe it's custard. I don't know, but I know it's good. So what we've got going on here is a leak in this area. It's kind of weird because I believe this to be an addition at some point. This roof is built over another slope roof. It's just kind of weird in there. I was in a pinch on time last night to get my daughter picked up. So we found the issue inside. It took a while to find it up top. I did, we'll go through it. In the attic area, I could clearly see where this came through, and these here, you can actually pop this up. Maybe, I don't know, it's too dark in there now, you can't see. But that was a good location to get me in the traverse of maze inside here to find out where I was and find a marker from the roof where it's kind of soft right here. So I was able to get working through a really tight area to get into there. In editing, I'll see if I can't throw a picture up on the screen of what I saw underneath there. It's been going on for a while. It's just kind of disgusting. So we're here to fix it. I could not find it. There's a few things I thought, but after realizing where I was located, you know, if you have a mechanical device up on your roof, it should have something similar to this, maybe a little bit bigger to disperse the weight from the vibration so you're not cutting into the rubber. As far as the rubber, it's an EPDM non-reinforced rubber. I'm not a fan of it. Speaking of rubber, pointer here. I'm not the best rubber guy, but I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to put it directly down on decking of some sorts. More importantly, because of the fasteners holding that down. If you have nails and screws and staples holding it down, bad idea, don't do it. Why? That's one thing. In a pinch last night, because we were expecting rain today, there's staples sticking up. That's why I just tried to put little dabs so I can peel them off. It's not raining yet, so we're able to get in here and get these kind of addressed too. But this is GEOCEL 4500 brand. It's made for EPDM. This was even uncleaned. I just threw it on there. We're gonna address these. Those are staples sticking up. A couple of them actually had little puncture marks. We're gonna take a hammer, just tap that down, clean it with cleaner, primer, and then a cover tape patch on it. But the biggest issue when determining where this was, rubber goes up. Oh, by the way, I guess I should say, if you're putting a rubber system down, don't use those. There's actually a black board or ISO board that goes down. It uses buttons and screws, and the screws and buttons, the buttons are actually designed so when the screw head pulls down, it's countersunk just a little bit, and the buttons are in such a way there's no sharp edges that come in contact with the rubber. You don't want that. So make sure you use the appropriate material. Now back to the rubber going up under past the valley plenty far. The shingles coming across, no nails in the valley or close to. I was able to just gently tap, and by the way, I hope you can hear, I got the dead cat on because it's windy and it's pretty noisy there. You can kind of hear a truss right here. So that's where these marks were right here, about 16 inches over. That's very dense right here. Inside, the damage was right next to a truss. I didn't want to leave here last night without trying to figure it out, and I was able to find it. It was really hard. See that little glob of GEOCEL right there? There's a slit in this. So non-reinforced, I'm not a fan of it, but what actually is going on is when they built this roof pitch on top of this wood deck, they took a 1x8, it looked like, and laid it on the roof line to get the transition here and a place to maybe support and disperse the weight so you don't have a rafter just coming down a piece of decking. Then they built the rafters on top of that. Well, you've got this piece of rubber over time that is pushing on a sharp 90-degree edge right here, and that can over time fatigue this. There is ice and water. It got peeled up. When I put that dab in there, I didn't want it to be a pain to get to if I could, so that's why I threw some rocks under there just so it could sit overnight. That's the only reason those are in there. But the actual tear slit, and they peel that off now. I don't know if you can see it right there, just ever so small. It was so dirty, it was hard to find. I didn't have anything with me at the time. I was just trying to clean this and smear it out of here. Was able to spot that. So remedy to fix, I'm not going in and doing an actual replacement of the rotted wood right here. It's structurally okay, but it has got a pretty good little bit of rot right here. Again, you'll see on the picture if I can throw it up on the screen. I don't know what this is. It looks like some sort of silicone they put on in a pinch to patch it, which it slowed it down for a while, but it still is making its way in. Honestly, if I were going to do this, I would probably put those shingles up just a little higher out of the valley, but there shouldn't be a sharp edge for the rubber to rest on. So what we're going to do is try to, myself, me, myself, and Irene, we're going to try to hold that up, clean it, prime it. By the way, make sure primer is made for the material you're working with, which is this stuff right here. Firestone stuff. I will leave links in the description down below to Amazon if I can find it for you guys, because you're gonna have to get a roofing supply house in your area. Lowe's, Menards, Home Depot, they're not gonna carry it. So what we're gonna do is lift this up, clean it, make sure it's clean, get all the debris off of it, let it dry off real quick, evaporate with some mineral spirits. And then, yeah, for all you pro guys, there's probably an actual cleaner for it, but mineral spirits will work. Just make sure it's dried off. Don't proceed until it's dry. Clean all the dirt and debris off. The primer, do not come in contact with asphalt shingles. It will just tear it up, degrade it. I kind of want to shoot a video about that, time lapse it, smear it on. It's not going to dry. It's going to eat through the tar. So don't get it on your shingles. Don't spill on the shingles. Don't let your shingles drop back down onto it. Once it is primed, let it dry and flash off. Then you're going to, oh, by the way, when you do that, you're going to use, they do make these. I know I've done a video in the past. All I had was a chip brush. I was in a pinch. One of the viewers commented, yes, you do need to scratch it with one of these. This came from the manufacturer. It will rough it up a little bit, getting the primer into the rubber to chemically prep it for the cover tape, which is this stuff. There are different kinds on the market for different things. This is a cover tape, 5-inch cover tape. They have flashing, which is just a uncured, it's a fancy way of saying it, vulcanized, unvulcanized. Flashing is a little stretchy, semi-flashing. Semi-cured is a little stretchy, uncured is real stretchy. You'll use that for if you're like flashing. There's nothing really here to show it on. Anyway, cover tape's what I'm going to use today. Primer needs to be out past where you're going to go. Cover tape on. You do have a seam roller, you press it down in. Unfortunately, I don't have the seam roller today. I don't know where it went. It's not in the truck, couldn't find it. We're just gonna press it really hard. Again, we're in a pinch, we're doing this so it doesn't make a mess. I'm gonna try to do this pretty quick, uncut, unedited, raw for you guys. That's what I'm getting requested. On the way in, give it some thumbs up, please. This is gonna be kind of fun doing it myself. Because you can't get this stuff in the primer, and this stuff is bonded so daggone good. God, I'm sure it's gonna stick. But so what we're gonna try to do is get the patch. Where did I go here? Right here. Hopefully you guys can see this. I can't hold the camera and do this myself. I'm trying to find it now. Where'd it go? Right there. There we go. I'm gonna try to get the patch up in there. It doesn't have to be big, but we do want to clean it and make sure there's no other patch marks, because you don't want to fix this, go home thinking you're good, and there's a leak above it or below it, and you're coming right back, or you look bad. So I want to verify there's no other issues. That's the area where it is bad. The water was dripping in, then hitting different transitions of roofs below, causing areas in the entryway and the restrooms and things. So let's start by getting it cleaned. Make sure you use gloves. This stuff's pretty harsh. Let's see, where'd I go here? Where'd I go? Lost it. It's too big. Maybe get an extra set of hands here. Be prepared to get dirty. This stuff will leave a mess on your clothes and your hands. By the way, pro tip, you get primer on your hands, it makes a mess of them. Soap's not going to clean it. I always keep a can of WD-40 in my garage, in my mud sink, so I can spray some WD-40 on a paper towel, rub them off, cleans it up real good, then use a degreaser and get the WD-40 off your hand. That's some nasty, aged, dirty crud. Lost it again. Where is she? Right There, right there. Right there is one. There's, I'm gonna try to get the camera down in and give you a little better close-up of this. Right here, it was impossible to see in the dirt, but just by pulling on it, you can see there's a little slit in it. There's another one right there, starting just below it. We're gonna do all those in one good patch. Make sure there's no others. Once you clean it and you spray some WD, or not WD-40, but some cleaner on there, it kind of reveals. I've been on some rubber flat patches trying to find leaks, and if like you don't see anything here, but if you were to rub the cleaner on it, you can typically sometimes see a pinhole pop up when it's doing that right there. I've got the cleaner up under there far enough. Want to make sure it's dry. Then we'll get some primer on it, let the primer dry. Well, the primer's dry, and we're going to clean down a little bit further here. Oh, by the way, let's go ahead and get these addressed here real quick. We're gonna go right over those. This one's a bit bigger. See if we can't peel it down a little bit. So what you got is where the staples are actually starting to poke through, tearing the rubber. You don't use staples to fasten whatever they're fastening down and then put rubber on it. You can see another one right there, if it'll focus on it. We're just going to put a patch across these. Let's see where to go right there. I don't know if you guys want to see like everything, or if I should just focus on one area and cut this video out to make it a shorter, easier viewer, or if you want to see every little patch. Look at that right there. There's that stuck my finger. Hard to even see, but there's a clean hole through this rubber. It's the few that I did see. Let those start drying off. Come on, it's not on there. Yeah, might leak, but I just used this primer the other day, so it's probably okay, but make sure you mix it, stir it up real good. Especially your adhesives. Your adhesives will settle. So if you're going to do a rubber flat, use the glues for them. Make sure you mix it up real good. Also, there's a lot of people that don't realize when you put rubber down, you get your rubber lined up, you'll peel one side back, you'll glue the substrate and your rubber material. Do not roll it down. If you do that and it doesn't dry off, flash off, what's going to happen is it's going to stay like that under your rubber. It's not going to bond. You want them to dry off so they're dry to the touch. So they're kind of tacky, like they just feel sticky, like a glue, not in a liquid form. And then you roll it carefully, keeping wrinkles and kinks out of it. Once it's down, then you repeat the process on the other side, peel it all the way back, glue the two. I've seen a lot of people smear it down, roll it on, and it doesn't glue right. It's not how it's supposed to be. I'm probably gonna get messy doing this because I don't know if I can get this whole thing in there very well. Let me find it again. It is right there. There's two. This brush will soften up a little bit. And then because that thing right there won't fit in the bucket very well. Get it in there. Yeah, it's not gonna fit. Scratch it, rub it. Make sure you get your primer out past where your patch will be. If your patch goes down without primer, it won't stick. It won't stick long term anyway. Let's hold that other piece of ice and water up so ice and water doesn't get on it. So we'll let that dry off. Meanwhile, we'll get these going. Right here, right there. Just do one patch on this. Can kind of fit in there a little bit. You know what? I don't even think there was one there. I think that's just where I was showing the cleaning of it. Yeah, I don't see anything sticking up at all. I think that's where I showed in the video about cleaning it, seeing if bubbles pop up. Whoopsie. This stuff's the same. You don't smear it on and then put your patch on. You got to let it dry. Flash off, evaporate. Right now it's just smeared like that. You'll feel it. I'll go back up there in a minute and show you. The sun might poke out a little bit here yet this morning. I think that was all of them that I saw up here. There's a real nasty low front coming up from the southwest right there. It's centered out in north central Illinois, and it's just bringing up this big batch of moisture coming up this way. All right, let's go up here. Yeah, see, it's hard to describe in a video, but it feels just kind of tacky, but nothing's sticking to my finger. So that's pretty much ready to go. your adhesives and glues and primers, if you're not using, just set a lid over it, otherwise they start filming up over the top. Plus, it makes a nice little area to cut right across the top. This was 2 right here, so we're just going to get an idea where our patch needs to be. Make sure you're cutting on something good. A sharp straight blade will slice right through it. Around the edges, what I've always been told from the manufacturers. Supposedly it won't give an edge to peel up, or people catch and kick up, or whatever the case may be. Makes sense, can't hurt. So this has just got a little waxy backing. Peel it off. Careful, if it sticks, it sticks. Just stretch the hell out of it, getting it back off if you need to. Center it up, get it set. Ooh, almost did it right there. Work from the center out so you're not trapping any bubbles. Get it pressed in there. I will double check one more time before I leave for my little silicone roller. I'll put that in the description down below. You can get those on Amazon. And you'll press it, and it's actually mashing the rubber into the piece of, the patch into the rubber. We'll come back to this here in a minute. You can sometimes use like a shears or something. I've used those pretty good, but over time they'll get gummed up, and I'm not a fan of that. Missed a corner there. Once you're done rolling these and pressing these in, little GEOCEL 4500 around these cut edges, or if you want to go for the gusto, around the entire thing, especially in a high traffic area with, high traffic water area, you definitely want to. Maybe a good video in the future would be what happens on a scrap piece of rubber. Show, like, if you have a dirty, weathered, aged piece of rubber, not cleaning and priming it, how good will a patch stick? Will it peel off or not? Do 2 little patches here. Boy, the smell coming out of that thing is just so amazing. It's making me hungry. Sticks pretty good. I feel like this video is so long, it's going to take definitely my sister's fiber optic upload to YouTube. Unfortunately, I don't have any other really significant means of high-speed internet at my house until Starlink comes out. That was nothing. I'm smelling French fries and burgers now. with my fingers, since I don't have that roller, I'm just trying to press, working the air out, and actually press it into the rubber. Then I'll make sure I got that roller. The roller will actually focus the pressure in a small area, ensuring it's stretching it, mashing it into the two pieces. I just remember way back in the day, I'm wanting to say it was Mr. Rogers, give you a little idea how old I am, showed like a rubber factory, and I just remember those big vats, and it'd pour the rubber sap in, and it'd tumble it and mash it. That's kind of what you want to do, is get that pressed into it. You don't just stick it on and go. All right, let's get an idea how big. About that big. It's a highly scientific way of measuring. Got good coverage of primer. I cleaned the hell out of it. I want to be cautious that this lip here doesn't terminate right at this, just because I don't know how well that's going to stick to it. And you obviously don't want to stick into that when this isn't sticking down, so I'll probably put the edge of this about here. If you can see, if I got the camera on it, as high up as there and in there as I can go. And once I press it, put another layer of primer on top of this, because this isn't prepped and ready if you were to stick another piece on. And then reinforce over this, coming past that corner right there, if that makes sense. Wow. Yeah, that's that primer's not sticking to the silicone. Okay, that definitely answers my question. I do not want to stick it to here. It's not going to do anything. So it doesn't look like it is degrading or tearing up the rubber. It's sticking good to the rubber, but the primer is not sticking to the silicone. So just keep that in mind in a pinch what you're using. There could be a bigger, better repair. I mean, you could flat bar this section out, remove a piece of rubber, fix the wood, redo it all. That's a lot. I'm putting a patch on this right here so they don't have water, Niagara Falls pouring in here. I do want to stick a little patch on that, but that primer's coming right up with my finger. So definitely not going to work. Can you guys see? I feel like you're missing half of what I'm doing. All right, this is going to be fun. All right. Do not get it on the silicone. Ow. Get it on the roof deck. There we go. I think I got it up in there, not sticking to the ice and water. Now we just got to press it in real good. If you're going to do a rubber job, please just take my advice. Don't listen to somebody that's going to talk you into a lower quality material. The cost difference for a roll of non-reinforced versus reinforced is not that much different. What is reinforced? There's a crisscross lattice of nylon bands through it, and it keeps the rubber from stretching and retracting. It keeps it it's just going to be way better. Just trust me on that. I think you're only talking like $100 or so per roll, which is 100 foot long by 10 foot. And then there's different thicknesses of it. Guy that says non-reinforced is better, he's probably just wanting to put more moolah in his pocket. So don't listen to him. Let's get that pushed on there real good. Don't want this becoming an issue, especially because it's in under the shingles. The shingles are actually lapping down onto the flat. They're not up. It's not essentially giving it a channel for the water to run down. It's actually hitting this and getting wicked up in and trapped up in here. My personal opinion, this probably should have been cracked up a little bit higher to allow the water to run off and then dry off and not be trapped up under there. The other thing, if you're installing this, you got to be careful the starter that you don't have a tar sticking down, because it could compromise and degrade what your rubber is. just some thoughts and some pointers to point out here. All right, that should be good. I'm not gonna put the 4500 around the edges just yet because I want to continue to clean and go up and check the next 6-8 feet of this above and a few feet down below, make sure there's no other cut marks. How we're gonna do that is just with the rag and cleaner. Got a little bit of trash blowing down. There's a drive-through right here. I don't want stuff going down on them. Somehow I managed to booger this up. Son of a... It went down crooked and it's like locked on there. There we go. There's an Archimedes. Thank you, Archimedes. Fun little story. I was telling my little girl. Actually, yeah. My little girl, we got her a Minnie Mouse car. A little more about us. Our brief story was kind of funny. Month or two back, she's driving a little mini car and the tire came off. I was telling her how to fix it. She couldn't pick it up. I was like, hey, let me teach you about Archimedes. Go get a lever, go get a broom. I was showing her how to put it under there and she lifted the little mini car up, put the tire back on. It was amazing. Well, she let go of the broom lever thinking it was just gonna stay there and it goes whack right into her chin. I felt so bad. I was like, oh my God, my wife saw it. She's like, oh, terrible idea, terrible advice. But I remember when my dad taught me that stuff when I was like 6 years old. My little girl's 3, a little age difference there. Man, I can't wait for the things to teach her. Anyway, just wanted to share that. Popped in my mind. Thought it was pretty funny. She was okay. Didn't hurt her. Just scared her. I think she'll be really cautious now next time. Okay, let's get this checked out and cleaned up. We're just gonna clean it real quick. Get the heavy layer of debris off of it, looking to see if we see anything kind of pop up and be revealed. And then try to on camera. I'm just gonna gently push on the rubber to stretch it to reveal a little easier with my eyes if there is a tear, slit, puncture, hole, something to be a little more visible. I'm not seeing anything in that little short stretch. I just want to verify with a few extra minutes that I did get the hole and there are no more. I'm not seeing any right here. We're going to go a little further down and then go up. Let's talk real quick about water and watershed and some things. So you got this section here. If something were to leak there, it may not drop in right there. It could run anywhere down typically from that and somewhere along that travel drop in. So the leak could be anywhere above it. Same on this section. If it's dropping in here, it could be coming in anywhere above that. A little bit sideways sometimes. Although it can really throw a curveball at you. If it were to come in on that top of that valley, you got that 1x laying up on the roof, it could easily run down that corner being pulled by gravity, nothing else to drip off of. It's just going to continue to trickle down. So you don't know if it's in this plane that way, if it's in this plane that way, or anywhere up in between that little pizza pie shape right there. Just look it over high and low. That was partially why this was so hard to find, because there's roof layers under this roof layer. So this is built onto this roof. This roof was built onto another roof and has an attic crawl area just to the north side of that. It's kind of hard to get into. Let's go a little farther down. In the attic area, I didn't see any more rotted wood here. It had gotten under the roof deck. There's a handful of 16s, OSB, look like some moldy mushrooms, kind of indicating that it's been going on for a while. I didn't see anything any lower down here. It was actually dripping off below another roof deck. So the area is going to be pretty much from here up possibly a little bit higher, but I don't feel any rotted wood. Plus, when I was up in this roof attic area, I didn't see anything indication of water coming in that. So I'm pretty confident, but I just want to take a few extra minutes and roll that out. Sorry to be so repetitiveness, but I want to be sure. Where'd my lid go? Much better that time. It's getting really pinned right here. I apologize, I'm sure it's hard for you guys to see. See this right here? This is a good example of why reinforced is good. Non-reinforced, over time and temperatures, it will contract and just kind of pull in on itself. The reinforced fibers in there help keep that from happening. So when you have an area like this where the rubber is pulling up, it's not good. Over time, it's going to continue to pull the bonding adhesive or the glue and the rubber from the substrate off, eventually working its way further this way. Then when you get a loose piece of rubber like that, depending upon where it is, how big it is, and how much time and how many winds in your weather in your area, Bernoulli's wind, Bernoulli's law or wind whipping over it like that, take a piece of paper, hold it next to your mouth, and then blow, and it will suck because of the vacuum pulling that up. Over time, I will have seen rubber just start whipping in the wind, eventually making it worse and kind of exacerbating the problem, and eventually being a bad failing roof. You want to make sure it doesn't stretch up. And this is not bad, but nevertheless, it's showing you that it is. At one time, that was probably glued down into there, and it's shrinking and contracting and pulling up. Again, just make sure there's no tears, cuts, punctures, loose rubber. I think I got it. I don't see any others. Everything in here is solid up. "37 minutes. It's time, 38 minutes. Time to wrap up. The only thing left to do is clean up the mess, go see if I can find the silicone roller, press these all down. We'll be out of here. Hope the video helped. Hopefully it gave you a little more insight of what to look for, some extra info on maybe how to fix your patch and things. And if I didn't mention, check out Cone Palace if you're in the area, Kokomo, right off 931 on the south side of Kokomo. Give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, ring the bell notification. Until next time, be safe. We'll see you then. Just in case you're wondering, I did miss a patch here on camera, so before you comment, if you watch this far, appreciate it. I'm getting ready to put the patch on, then I'll see you on the next one. Oh, by the way, I saw another YouTuber do this, and he just said, hey, at the end of the video, if you've watched this far, the random word to comment below, so I know you watched this far, is screwdriver. Until next time, be safe. We'll see you then.